Well, hello, good morning, and welcome again to River Valley Farm. As I said in the video I posted last night or this morning or whenever the hell it was, we were going to make some adjustments to this 124 Massey baler. We're going to change the hydraulic oil in that thing. We're going to test, put that thing back on and test that. Anyway, so the adjustment that we need to make on this baler is the plunger. So anyway, that's your stationary knife and your plunger knife right there. I don't know how well you guys can see that up in there, but anyway, as you can see, the gap is way off on that thing. It should be well, it should be even, for one thing. And for another, it should be 25 or 5, somewhere between 5 and 30 thousandths of 1 inch top and bottom. As you can tell, that's not what that is. So it's kind of, we're gonna have to do a little investigating here and see why is it that far off, for one thing. Wouldn't be too surprised to learn that we've got a bad roller at this point in time, because that's the only real explanation I can come up with for it being quite that far out of adjustment. That's just me talking, of course, but anyway, that's what I'm thinking, is we're going to have a bad roller or something in that plunger. So let me get this rolled back where I can do something where we can look at it at a little different angle. Maybe we can come up with something here. Okay, so we rolled it back, and I don't know, let me try and stick this light someplace so I can get you guys down where maybe you can see it. But anyway, there is a definite lean to this plunger. I don't know for sure what or why, but there is definitely a lean to this plunger. Now, let's see. Probably the only way I'm going to be able to tell what's going on with it would be to get all the hay out of it and look through the plunger, or look through the look through the bale chamber end to see what's going on with it. See if it does have a bad roller, or is it just the way it's laying in there, or what have you. So excuse me, well, let me do that, I guess, and then we will see what we got. So if you ever wondered how much material was in a bale of hay, check this out. Well, this is 1 in a piece, but anyway, and this is partially compressed too. But okay, so anyway, we've got our plunger rolled back into our bale chamber here, so you can see better what we got going on. See if I can get my hand and the camera down in here at the same time. Okay, so see this gap right here. Okay, that should be between 5 thousandths and 30 thousandths of an inch, and it should be equal top and bottom. As you can see, that is like as far from the case as it can possibly be. Now we can, let's see, those bolts would seem to be tight, at least to the touch, but anyway, we can try and adjust it with those bolts, but then that doesn't really answer for why our plunger seems to be laying that way. Okay, seems to be laying over that way. I don't know why that is, but it's time to find out. So let me get a pry bar maybe. One of these, I might have to move the truck forward and get that big long one over there so I can do this. But anyway, stick this bar down through here. And okay, so there is definitely something that is worn out in there. And even then, it's still going to be out of adjustment. We'll need to adjust it over. But there is definitely something that is not right with this plunger. Now, where is there any place you could look in there and see where it's at? What's going on with it? I don't know. Probably not. But yes, I'm going to say we definitely have a bad roller on this thing. Yay! So, I'll have to contact the owner and let him know that we got a bad roller, see what he wants to do from there. Probably we'll say bring it back to him and park it in his shop, and then I will go and help him take it apart and put it back together again. But anyway, for now, I guess that kind of puts an end to this thing. While I could possibly adjust that, hang on, let me see if I can find some place this thing will sit where you guys can see what I'm talking about here. It should sit right there just fine. But anyway, that shouldn't do like that, I don't think. I could be wrong, but I don't think that should do like that. So anyhow, like I said, probably just going to take this thing back where it came from now, and then I will assist the owner in fixing it, because that'd probably be way better than me attempting to do it. And anyway, he sent me out with this thing in the condition that it's in currently. He said, well, take the book, because there's an adjustment that needs to be made on that plunger. If you're going to keep it and run another couple 3 acres over what you're going to do now, then go ahead and adjust that. Well, it's a little bit more than an adjustment. So anyway, we're going to have to, like I said, I got to call him, let him know what's going on, and then we'll probably take this thing back. But anyway, on to the next thing, I suppose. Alright, so now we are going to take this thing back where we got it from, or I'm going to take it back where I got it from anyway. Haul it down the road back to my uncle's house, park it in his shop, and start tearing it down, because, oh, excuse me, it needs to be tore down. And though I have a baler I'm going to go look at tomorrow afternoon, I'm still going to help him fix this one, because, well, he was kind enough to lend it to me, and I was in a bind, in a pinch. So anyway, I know I do help him out a lot, but either way, we're going to help him out some more, just because that's how it is. But anyway, we're going to take this, or I'm going to take it back, I'm going to strip it. I'll put in some pictures of what I find, and we'll go from there when I get back, I guess. Okay, so that roller, that was on the side it was leaning towards, the outside of the bale chute, basically, of the bale chamber. And that's the side it was leaning towards. It was completely shot. There were no balls left in it. Junk. Also, the bearing on the end of the crank that connects the gearbox to the plunger connecting rod was bad. So we're going to get those two bearings, or well, that bearing and then that roller. Tried to get them by size and by number. Can't get them anywhere locally, so we're going to have to go to the Massey Ferguson dealer, and then we'll see what gives from there. So anyway, on to this, I suppose. Time to drain this oil. Just dug all the hay out of the back of my truck. And of course now I need to fish out my toolbox so we can get to this. But anyway, hang on a minute. Okay, so drain pan's in position here. There are 3 drain plugs to drain the hydraulic oil completely out of this tractor. 1, 2, and the third one is back there above the drawbar. So we're gonna drain these 2 out, these 2 sections, and then move on to back there. And I've not had much luck with getting my drawbar to move previously, so we'll try that one more time. If that doesn't work, then we'll just try not to make too much of a mess. Anyway, these are 1/16". Drain plugs are 1/16". And depending on how long they've been in there, who the He-Man woman hater was that put them in there, they could be a real pain. Mine aren't being too bad, so that's good. Like I said, it was serviced just incorrectly, as incorrectly could be, right? So anyway, let's take that down. Always good to get a handful of oil when you're doing stuff like that, right? Anyway, let me go ahead and get this other drain plug that I got covered out of it. And I don't know if this is going to hold it all or not. Anyway, whatever, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Okay, so we've got those 2 sections pretty much drained out. I'm not big on getting one, trying to get one completely dry, because you'll leave it open for days and get it full of dirt. So anyway, we're gonna close off this front section, drag the drain pan back, and see how much of a mess we can make with the back section, the differential section. See how much of a mess we can make with that. So tighten this plug up before I forget, because I would hate to be driving along and lose all this high dollar oil. You know, guys, just for good measure here, I'm using about the cheapest tractor hydraulic oil that anybody should use, and that's Mobil. If Shell makes tractor hydraulic oil, I don't know about it, but you know, that would be another good one to choose from. Otherwise, it's just kind of trying to pick between the manufacturers, which whatever you have, whether it be International, Case International, and Hi-Tran, Deere and Hi-Guard, New Holland, whatever they use, and then Massey Ferguson, whatever they use. Which, you know, the New Holland and Case oil is now the same thing, but I think I've heard tell anyway that the New Holland oil is cheaper, but it's the same stuff as Hi-Tran. I'm going to use Mobil 424 tractor hydraulic because, like I said, it's what I have access to. I can get that at a really good deal through my work. And anyway, it just is what it is, I guess. So I'm going to leave that port open and see if I can open up that other one. I think there's plenty of room. You can just take the plug out and not have it hit the drawbar or anything and be stuck in there. So that's what I'm going to go with. That's what we're going to try first. I think my drain pan has a leak. That's not good. Okay, so in this compartment, the differential housing, basically, we have this stuff, okay? It's metallic fragments, shavings, whatever you want to call them, basically, okay? Again, it's in the drain plug. It is right there underneath of the differential. It's right where the oil comes back into the differential out of the axle housings. It's gonna have metal flake in it, okay? Wear on the ring and pinion, bearings, brake material. It all comes back into here and settles out. So, one thing I will say, if you have one of these tractors, and by one of these tractors, I mean anything from a 454 International through a 674 International, a 484 like this International tractor to an 884, same thing, okay? Case International from a 485, possibly a 385 even, all the way to a 985, a 395 to a 995, and then the 20 and 30 series tractors, the 42, or well, excuse me, it's 42, 10, 20, 30, those, all the same thing, all the way up to a C90 McCormick, which uses this exact same rear end with the Perkins engine in front of it. And some of the late Case IH utilities, I think, are the same thing, a C90 in them also. They all use this same transmission, rear end differential housing, okay? So they're all capable, they will all have that. All right. When I do one of these that I can get the drawbar off of, I take the rear plug out first, okay? Works better that way. That way you have more oil flow going out out this hole, so you can get more of the metal out. My drawbar won't come out. The pin, the bolt that holds the pin is fine, but the pin is seized in the upper bore. So one of these days I'm gonna have to drill and tap and then put a puller on it or something and pull it out of there so I can get that fixed. But anyway, for today's purposes, that will work. So, all that being said, take this rear one and the differential housing out first, if you can get the drawbar out of the way. If you can't get the drawbar out of the way, you would probably be better off to take one of the other ones out first and let most of the oil run out that way, because if you don't have the drawbar out of the way, you will not be able to contain this oil. It will be all over your floor, all over your barn dirt floor, all over your shop floor, all over your driveway, whatever, okay? It's a mess. Don't do that. So anyway, for I'd like to say good measure anyway, I am thinking of taking this cover, that one right there, off while we are this far along, since it doesn't have any oil in it, and look in there and see what's going on. See if I can see anything out of the ordinary, out of place, lots of metal, anything like that, because you know that is, or well, that's not where your pump is. Your pump, you should be able to see the pump from there, but the pump is bolted to the MCV over there on the other side of the transmission. Anyway, let me put some drain plugs back in and then we'll do that. Okay, so this one's getting kind of long, so we're just going to finish up with this and be done with it. I always take some of the old tractor hydraulic oil, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't have to be Hy-Tran or any other thing else, but tractor hydraulic. I save some of it back for lubing chains and stuff. If you have any equipment with chain driven anything on it, this is like the best stuff in the world to lubricate chains with. It sticks good, but it doesn't really attract dirt all that much, or at least it doesn't hold dirt if it does attract it. So as far as that goes, I even cut it with well, I'm gonna have to strain this a little bit, but I even cut it with diesel fuel, you know, put a little bit of diesel in with it to kind of thin it out a little bit. Put it in a sprayer and just spray over everything, or a little spray bottle or something, and spray chains with it. Works real well. So anyway, let me get reset up and we'll yank that cover off the other side and see what it looks like up in that hole. And then I gather you guys can figure out how to put a funnel. Let me show you where to refill this before I forget, because I'm probably going to quit at it. That's your hydraulic fill right there. That fills your rear, your differential, your transmission, and the cavity in between. And 11 gallons is what it's supposed to hold. We'll see how close I get to that. But anyway, that's what it's supposed to take. So, yeah. Okay, so right behind the front step, right behind the step here, in front of the axle is this little plate. This is just an access cover. We're about to find out if it takes a gasket or if it takes a O-ring. Like I said, we're about to find out. So anyway, I'm gonna take it off. Ever how many there? What, 8 5/16 bolts. We'll have that off of there, and then we can see what's up inside of that thing. Hopefully nothing. Okay, so boom, cover's off. Don't see anything too dramatic down in here. Everything looks to be pretty good, really. There's a little bit of dirt here from where I took the cover off. You'll have that. This piece here, I'm not real sure 100% sure what that thing is. It would appear to be a synchronizer for something, but I don't know what or why it would have it. And then, let's see, we can see our parking brake right here. That's your parking brake on this thing, or that's where the band should attach for the parking brake. And then you got the main shaft of the transmission right there coming from the parking brake, going into, I don't know, the high-low reverse gear right there. This would be the range section of the transmission. Your hydraulic pump is on the other side of this big pack right here. So you can't see as much as I thought you could from in here, but that's how it is, I guess. So anyway, I'm gonna put this cover back on. I'm gonna fill it up with oil. And like I said, we're probably gonna call it good from here because I'm gonna have to go do something else anyway. So get out from under this thing. Yay, okay. Thanks for watching. Have a good day or night or whatever it may be. And we'll get back to you sometime. Whew. Anyway. Yep. We'll get back to you. Maybe with something to do with this, but probably first the mower.